How gigantic were turtles 100 million years ago, or even 200 million years ago?
I'd like to discuss the conflicting newspaper reports.
So you and the eminent Dr. Hidaka conclude that this Gamera creature has been hibernating underground for 200 million years until now, when he decides to take a stroll. Oh, Dr. Contraire, you do have a sense of humor.
I'm simply advancing the theory that the great-granddaddy of all turtles could have reappeared, released from its tomb of ice by the explosion of the bomb. Now, you may blithely ignore the statements of Dr. Hidaka if you wish. However, I note that you haven't offered a more reasonable explanation for the total destruction of the Chitteramaru.
If you'll get down from your pulpit for 1 minute, I'd like to ask you why Washington is so silent about all this. Or do you know more about it than the government?
It would not be the first time Washington has kept the truth from the public, whether it be flying saucers or Gamera.
Oh, so now you believe in flying saucers, along with 200-feet turtles that survive atomic bomb explosions. Of course, we all know there really is a Santa Claus. Oh, Dr. Contraire, every time you bray, you make a bigger jackass of yourself.
Jules, please.
Mr. Standish, I demand an apology. I've devoted my life to science.
Gentlemen.
You'll get no apology from me, Contraire. I prefer to...
You have no scholarships to back your arguments. You have no arguments, only invective. Read Virgil's Laocoon. Read Paradise Lost.
The ravings of a lunatic.
Read of the Pyrites, the fire without and the frost within. Read, you ignorant ape. Read what intelligent men have written for thousands of years. What did he call me?
Jules, please.
He called me an ape?
Gentlemen.
Not merely ape.
Quiet. Please
Ignorant ape. Why, you?
Remember that
Call me. How dare you call me an ape? Where'd you get your diploma? Made in Japan? Oh, you're going to give me
I hope you'll be back again next week for another...
What do you expect to make out of this? I'd like to see you.
Would you care for a magazine or newspaper, sir?
Oh, thanks. You're very kind.
You're welcome, sir.
Do you suppose there's any connection between this and what happened to the Chidori Maru, Doctor?
I'm personally inclined to believe there is, yes, although we don't know what happened to the ship. And then the radio blackout. Was that mere coincidence?
And those reports General O'Neill told us about Dr. Hidaka, I think there is a connection between them somehow.
I'm sure of it. And far-fetched as it seems, I'm convinced all this has something to do with Gamera.
You mean you believe such a beast might really exist? Of course, you're the scientist, and I'm just a layman, Doctor. But still, after all, except for the pilot's report and the Eskimo stone, there's really nothing to go on.
Still, you can't just discount all that evidence.
No, you can't. To do so is just dangerous and foolish. I'm afraid Gamera is real. A creature like that. You realize the amount of damage it could cause?
Of course I do. In civilized areas, it would be capable of destroying whole towns.
No.
Well, you convinced me, Doctor, anyway.
Let's hope General Arnold can convince the people in Washington.
All right, Miss will you take this down, Miss Mr. Jones? Type of the report of what you did. Thank you very much.
Another?
Gentlemen?
I think we know why we're here. Let us not waste any time. General Arnold, we'd appreciate your report.
Yes, sir. In addition to our initial findings, huge footprints, not unlike those of a turtle, leading from the area of the explosion to the exact spot of the destruction of the ship, and also where Captain Foster of our air defense claimed he saw the giant turtle. And during the last 13 hours, we have received reliable sightings of flying saucers, all fitting the identical description, starting over Nome, Alaska, proceeding to Saskatchewan, on to Toronto, London, Munich, Warsaw, and now Moscow.
General, are you inferring that these sightings of UFOs are related to the reports of a giant turtle, a horrendous monster right out of mythology?
I'm inferring nothing, Senator. I'm reporting facts as we know them. And I might add that if UFO continues its pattern, it will be sighted next over Japan. I would estimate in 5 or 6 hours, or shortly before Dr. Hidaka is scheduled to land at Tokyo.
Dr. Hidaka? Does he have some standing in world science councils?
I've never heard of them.
And I'm considered expert enough to head committees on nuclear fission and the like. This man should not be permitted to terrify the world with such distortions unless he is qualified to throw some ray of light on these incredible reports.
The point is that Dr. Hidaka is eminently qualified. I have examined all the reports, including the transcript of the conversation between General Arnold and Dr. Hidaka, shortly after the zoologist was rescued by one of our helicopters. It is evident that he is a logical man and one who relies on facts. And from what he learned about Gamera as a result of his research and the evidence at the scene of destruction, I respect his conclusions, whether his knowledge is derived from science or mythology, both extensive.
Yet, Mr. Secretary, you must agree that until more logical explanations are available, the public should not be informed of this factual evidence of supposed footprints of supposed monsters.
That decision was made by the Commander-in-Chief. I do know that if Gamera exists and did survive an atomic explosion, our world is about to face a calamity of enormous proportions.
Well, I, for one, will not be coerced by this schoolboy myth of flaming dragons. And frankly, Mr. Secretary, I am disturbed. I am deeply disturbed to see that you have decided to go along with these alarmists.
Are you, Senator? Well, from the facts, I am quite concerned. Deeply concerned. And so is the President. General Arnold, has Dr. Hidaka offered any advice?
No, sir, there was none he could offer until he knows more about the creature.
Gentlemen, I think we're in for a time of it. General Arnold, you're relieved of all duties at the command post and will take this assignment, the Gamera operation. Report directly to me.
Yes, sir.
Now, gentlemen, if you will excuse us, the President is waiting.
The only 3 known survivors of the ill-fated exploration ship Chidori Maru, Dr. A.G. Hidaka and his 2 companions, will arrive in Tokyo tomorrow.
Miss Sakurai.
Ah, Mr. Ueda. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I was on my way to see you.
What's wrong? Has Toshio been misbehaving at school?
No, not really misbehaving exactly. Here, look at this.
Oh? Oh, no. Not more turtles.
Yes. It would seem your brother has some sort of obsession.